Well, welcome back. I'm so happy that you have another film in the festival. And what's it like to be back finally again?
Well, as you know, Toronto's been very, very, very good to me and my films. And the first film I brought here was Tigerland, and then Phone Booth. So Colin owes his career to the Toronto Film Festival, and Veronica Guerin was here. So this is our fourth time, and it's great. I mean, it's great. Pierce and Cameron have been great to me. So, and my films, and more importantly, and it's great. And I love the Canadian audience. It's a real film lovers community. Always has been. Except now you're big and glamorous, guys. You know, it was more homey
Back in the day when we had 90 minutes to chat.
Yeah, everybody was homies, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But now you're all big, and you got all these sponsors, and that's great.
Yeah.
You know what? We've all seen it grow.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for all the right reasons. I still think when you hear Toronto Film Festival, I think there's a lot of appreciation of film. I think a lot of great films come here. But also, it always feels to me like it's going to be cool and laid back. It's not going to be like some of the other festivals.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I think that speaks to, the Canadian nature, and I think also that this is a film lovers community. It really is, right?
Yeah, it's great to see it with these audiences. Well, this one, you scared the crap out of me as usual. And really, this one taps into, I think, everybody's primal fear of somebody having their house broken into. I don't think that there's a person out there who doesn't double check their locks at night and all that. What inspired, you to take the script and go, okay, I'm going with this one?
Well, I think it is a primal fear. And we've known each other a long time. I try to do something I've never done anything like this, and but it's all cast reliant because, like Phone Booth, it's an intense atmosphere where people are locked in to a house in this particular film, and you need a brilliant ensemble because this is all about the people, and it's all a psychological thriller, even though there's violence in it, but it's much more about the people and what happens to them in 90 minutes. Because when I agree with you totally, and I'm sure everyone else would, that home invasion is a primal fear, but we don't know how we'll act. We don't know who we're going to be in it. And I think that's part of the fear. Are we going to survive? Or are we going to become proactive? Or are we going to be victims? Or what are we going to do at that particular moment? And I think that in this case, there's also, I can't speak to Canada, but in the United States right now, there's too many rich and too many poor, and the middle is shrinking. And so the have and have-nots is extreme. And I think that in this case, as in all cases, sometimes the haves don't have as much as you think they have. And I always saw Ben Mendelsohn's family, if we can use that word, because it's his brother and his girlfriend and then a mysterious person. And then, of course, Nicole and Nick and their daughter Leanna, also, they're all great actors. And I also think Nicole and Nick set the bar very high for them. But they're really representative of two families that have overreached for the American dream, or maybe the universal dream, which is to have more and take care of yours. And they've just approached it in a very different way. Yeah. And they both owe money, and they're both in a lot of trouble. And so there's a desperation to it. But in the film, there's a reason they're there in that house, and there are cross connections and secrets and lies among that and among this.
It's great. I love how it interviews Nick, who of course you've worked with on 8mm, and Nicole, who you worked with in Batman. So how amazing, the comfort zone. You already know what you're getting into with these two actors, and they're amazing anyways, even if you hadn't worked with them. But that must be great to have that comfort level.
Well, even though we're different generations, our careers have grown at the same period of time. Because I met Nicole when she came from Australia after DEDCOM, and we've been friends. We became friends after she married Tom, and we did a lot of socializing and things together. And then, of course, I worked with her. Nick I've known since he was a teenager, and I have worked with them too. I think it's more of a challenge in a way because we are close friends. We know an enormous amount about each other personally and professionally, and you don't want to disappoint them. They've also grown. I mean, Nicole Kidman, as great and beautiful as she was on Batman Forever, has now won Academy Awards and is, an extraordinary actress, which she was then, but everyone finally realized it. And Nick is Nick. Nick can do anything, right? I think they both can if they really want to. And so you don't want to disappoint them. You want to be there for them. But you also have to remember you're their director. And people they don't need a friend in a director. They need a director. That's what your job is. And but in a case, I would say this for all the actors in this movie, they just need a little this and that, and hearing them, because they're all very intelligent, hearing them out and trying to figure out how to serve the story and their characters. When this is all, a lot of it is very, very spontaneous, because when you get 7 people in a room, you can't write every single line and everything, although the script is excellent.
Yeah.
And the same as Phone Booth. And a lot of my movies, Tigerland, a lot's going to happen that just happens.
Yeah.
Right? And they keep evolving in their roles, and they worked very closely with Eli Richborg, who rewrote the film on the set. And it becomes their characters.
Yeah.
And they start to grow and own them, which is very exciting. We did 2 weeks of rehearsal, too, which was invaluable.
Yeah. Pretty amazing. I'm so upset that I don't have more time with you, but I have so many things I want to talk to you about. But quickly, we're doing a little feature on where do you like to go when you want to get away from it all? Do you have a favorite vacation destination or somewhere that you just like to go to unwind and relax?
Well, I built a house in Santa Barbara in a funky surfing town, and it's out of old barns, and that's a great place to escape. But I'm not good with downtime. After 1 week, I've been working since I'm 9, and I like to work. I'm a worker, and I wanted to make movies since I was 7. I don't know how it happened, because I started out, as you know, $200 a week as a costume designer on an independent film. I'm lucky to have that. Lucky to be working I was 30, and it'll be 40 years that I'm in the movie business.
Are you going to let me write that biography? We really need to talk, because every time I tell people I'm going to talk to Joel Schumacher, they're like, oh my God, he's my favorite. Oh my God, I want to know more about him. And I'm like, the guy won't let me write his book, and you keep saying nobody wants to know about you. Are you freaking kidding me?
It's not. Well, I don't think I'm important enough for people to know about me, but the great thing about my life is the people along the way, and you can't tell. And if you don't tell, it's boring, and if you do tell, you violate every relationship you've ever had. Mm-hmm. And I have to die with the secrets, because I owe them that. So, I don't know,
Well, keep thinking about it. Keep thinking about it. Very quickly, you've launched so many careers of so many amazing, amazing people. Who's the one that stands out? Even this, like, Liana Liberato, who I saw in Trust, and she's phenomenal. Mm-hmm. But who, stands out for you most? Like, wow, I knew that person was going to make it.
I didn't know any of them were going to make it, to be very honest with you. I knew that there was no one like them, and I knew that they were perfect for the role, and I was lucky to get them. The only thing that happened, starting with DC Cab, and certainly through St. Elmo's and Lost Boys and on, up to and including, Matthew McConaughey and Colin, and Brad Renfro unfortunately is gone, but Kiefer, the Lost Boys, and I just know there's no one like them. And I feel if Julia Roberts walked in your office, if you've seen 50 actresses for the role in Flatliners, and Julia Roberts shows up, you just thank God. And if you didn't hire her, you should not be in the movie business, because believe me, there was absolutely no one like her at 20, and the world understood that. But Pretty Woman hadn't come out yet. She had just finished filming it. So, yes, and there was no one like Kiefer. You know you want the head of the Lost Boys, but you don't know what it looks like. Casting is like falling in love. You know it's out there, but you don't know exactly what it is. And then it walks in your office, or someone sends in a tape, or someone forces you to meet someone for coffee. And that's what it was that I was looking for. But I didn't know I was looking for that, but now I know what it is, right? And that's what happens a lot. That's what happens. I brought Matthew McConaughey in on A Time to Kill to play another role. The role I gave Kiefer eventually, which was the redneck racist. And while I was talking to Matthew, I was thinking he'd be great in the lead. Now how am I going to sell him? John Grisham helped me.
Yeah.
Right. I sent a little tape of Matthew, and John Grisham loved him, and so I thought, well, and by then we had Sandra Bullock and Samuel L. Jackson, and so the studio was, and on and on. It's a great cast in that film.
See, we could just write a book about your stories about this. You don't have to tell any secrets. You can just talk about your film experiences.
But you know, casting,
I'm not gonna laugh.
I have my career, which I never thought I'd have. It's very interesting if you wake up one day and you have a career when you're just trying to get jobs. And, but I think I have my career because of my casts.
Okay, you have your career also because you're an amazing director, and that's all I have to. And we're ending this right now on that. But
You hire talented people and remind them how talented they are.
oh, and you're a talented guy too. I always love talking to you. Thank you so much for
Thanks,
stopping by,
Bonnie. I
as
wish we
always.
could talk longer.
I do too.